6 now, and we're still brainstorming metaphors for the assignment. And a metaphor is a thing. Like a metaphor is a symbol we will include in our art piece. Okay, and it's going to show our thesis. And then after this, we're going to do a circle map. I want you to go ahead and highlight anything that you feel like represents the American dream in green. Highlight the real America, like reality, in yellow. And in blue, highlight any quotes you can relate to. And I also want you to comment. You are being recorded live for YouTube. Woo! So make sure when I do the stop and thinks that we see you typing. And I'm going to read fast. Like we got 8 minutes, right? And some of you are going ahead. If someone's annotating, it's okay. You can annotate on top because I will see the version history and you could kind of change it and be very specific, highlight specific words. Okay, but we're all writing together. And on the right side, right here, you could type metaphors. And you could keep working on this during academic prep. Here we go. Hello, this is Le Allen Jones with the last chapter. It's November 19, 1996, and I want to leave you with some final words about our America. We live in 2 different Americas. In the ghetto, our laws are totally different. Our language is totally different. And our lives are totally different. So again, if you can relate to this, put blue. If you have an idea for a metaphor, type it on the right. I've never felt American. If you can relate to that, highlight it in blue. I've only felt African American. Or maybe you could say, I've only felt Latinx. An American is supposed to have life, liberty, prosperity. Okay, what America is that, guys? You would highlight that in green, right? Highlight that in green, right? Like life, liberty, and prosperity. And happiness, right? That, like, what does a symbol look like for happiness that we would go ahead, we would put in our piece? But an African American is due pain, poverty, stress, and anxiety. So that little part right there is reality, right? The yellow, right? So see, like that's the American dream in green. But then in yellow, it's like pain, poverty, and stress. And then if you could relate to it, you're highlighting it in blue. And then if you have an idea for a metaphor, write it on the side. Also, you could comment, like, do you relate to it? I wonder why. This means that. This makes me think about. So you can highlight anything and put the plus. Here we go. I want to see you typing. Once again, I'm going to drop this in the chat one more time because I'm sad I don't see you all in here. All right, nice. Go ahead, write ideas for metaphors on the side. But the majority of things that I've experienced are not beautiful. Can anyone relate to this? Highlight that in blue. Not beautiful. Okay, stop and think. Describe something beautiful that you've experienced in America, because it's complicated. Okay, nice. So I see Andy's writing a idea for a flag on the side. Describe something that is not beautiful that you've experienced, right? So Joshua's on that. He's like, and Chanel. So if you guys are like having a battle about who's going to type, because this is a seminar, look, you could, go ahead and enter and you could both type. Where's everyone else, period 6? I see Andy, Joshua, and Chanel. Annotate with us. And I don't even have it as bad as most. There are millions of young men and women living the struggle, even harder than me. If you can relate to that, you agree with that, highlight that in blue. Keep up with me. As children, they have to make day-to-day decisions about where to go to school or whether to go on the corner and sell drugs. As children, they know that there may not be a tomorrow. What does this look like in an art piece? There might not be a tomorrow. Right? That's how we feel, right? So put a metaphor over here on the right. Give me some metaphors. How does that look? There may not be a tomorrow. Why are African American children faced with the dilemma? Right? The word dilemma means problem. So I'm going to always highlight your text. Like, what does it mean? Like problem. Look up stuff. Okay? Work as a team. I lost my space, guys. I don't even know. As children, they may not be a tomorrow. Why are African American children faced with this dilemma at such a young age? Look at these rhetorical questions. Why must they look down the road to a future that they might never see? What have my people done to deserve this? Right? comment, like if you could relate to this, like highlight it. I can relate to this because, or I think this because, and yet I am supposed to feel American? I am supposed to be patriotic? Stop and think. Do you feel American? Why or why not? And let me give you some space so you can all write. Stop and think. Do you feel American? Why or why not? I am supposed to love this system that has been detrimental. Detrimental means messed up. Can someone comment on that for me? Detrimental. And you can write, and I'm going to keep reading, right? We can work as a team. To the lives of my people. I'm supposed to love this system. I wonder what this system would look like. It's hard for me to say how I'm an American when I live in second America. An America that doesn't wave the red, white, and blue flag with 50 states. Okay, guys. So red, white, and blue flag with 50 states, right? That represents ideal America. So what is a metaphor that you could include? Write your ideas on the side. I live in a community that waves a white flag. Okay, white flag. That would be the real America, right? White flag means we've surrendered. So you could put that in your perspective piece. Because we have almost given up. I live in a community where on the walls are the names of fallen comrades of war, right? So fallen comrades of war means like people who have died in this war, right? So fallen comrades. Okay, so Breonna Taylor, George Floyd, fallen friends. Go ahead and list the people who have suffered because of this America. I live in second America, right? So that's like the yellow. What does Lee Allen Jones mean by second America? Okay, guys, if you want to stick here and you want to get your academic prep done, I will hang back and we can finish this up real quickly. I want to look at the edit history and I want to see that everyone's typing. What does Lee Allen Jones mean by second America? What does he mean?
I'm still gonna type, but can I say?
I'll type it for you. Go ahead.
I was gonna say that what he meant by second America is that like maybe he thinks the United States is divided because of racial inequality. Like I know there's an example I know. It's like back in the Civil War, the Confederate and the other side. I say they look at it as like that. Well, not like the Confederate, but they look at it as like we're divided because some are racist and some are not.
Do you ever feel like we're gonna go into a civil war?
In my opinion, I don't think so. Cause back then, when people like from the South were racist, they were too racist. They legit had people as slaves for them. And look, thank the Lord that it's abolished. But I don't think it's gonna happen again. I mean, we might have an intense discussion. There were gonna be protests and riots, but I don't think they're gonna be the United States is going into a war again.
Okay, so we're good. Mister, you gotta bounce. It's okay. I'm gonna hang back and I'm gonna post this video to YouTube. If you guys want to hang back and get your academic prep done now, go ahead and do that. But I want to finish reading this, mister. So you gotta bounce.
Have a good weekend. I'll see you soon.
Woo, Mr. Rivera. Tweakles to Mr. Rivera. So kind of like write like what you think by like second America. What does that mean? So if you guys gotta go, I get it. But let's like annotate this text because over the weekend, I want you guys to draw metaphors, right? So what is a metaphor that you could have for second America? Like what could you put? I live here not because I chose to, but because I have to. I hate to sound militant, but this is the way I feel. I wonder sometimes, why am I alive? What is my purpose? And I can always find a reason. But for a kid this is supposed to say whose, mother is a crack addict and who doesn't have a father and doesn't have a meal at night and has holes in his shoes when he walks the streets and can barely read and can barely communicate his feelings, which is almost the usual characteristic of a child from the ghetto, when he asks himself the question, what is my reason for being? What is my purpose? What can he tell himself? These are the thoughts that go in my mind that mesmerize me, like amaze me. So the word mesmerize means like you have no words. So how do you show that in a piece, right? There are no words. So all of us can make a difference in a country if we choose to do so. Do you believe it? Right? Sign your name. Can we make a difference in this country? Do you believe it? Some people might look at me and say, he's just some little N-word from the ghetto that knows some big words. Well, true, that might be. But listen to what I'm saying. I know you don't want to hear about the pain and the suffering that goes on in that part of the city. I know you don't want to hear about the kids getting shot in that part of the city. I know you don't want to hear about the kids getting shot in that part of the city. That's a typo. But little do you know that that part of the city is your part of the city too. So do you agree? What does he mean by that part of the city? And how would you draw that part of the city? What are some, thank you, Jose, for putting that. What are some metaphors? What are some metaphors in your art piece that you could include to show that part of the city? So that's your circle map, guys. Like thinking about those metaphors. What are you going to include? Right? So go ahead, write that in the side. Okay, look at all this, like these ideas that are coming in. It's great. So what does that part of the city mean? This is our neighborhood. This is our country. And this is our America. Does anyone relate to this out there? Does anyone relate to this? Would anyone highlight that in blue? Do you agree or disagree with that? That this is our America. Like it's everyone's. Do you guys agree or disagree? So you could go ahead and write like at the side, do you agree or disagree? And we must somehow find a way to help each other together. No matter what you believe, no matter how you look, and find some concrete solution to the problems of the ghetto, right? So I feel like we need another color for this. This is the hope, right? This is the hope that we want to show in our art show. Right now, we are at the point of no return. We have to make a change because if we don't, we'll go into the millennium in total disarray. Disarray means mess, right? We'll go into the millennium and it's just like this whole mess, right? So like, go ahead and make sure you're commenting. Stop and think. In your opinion, is America a mess? So is America a mess right now? Go ahead and write your thoughts. But I believe it's going to be all right. Somehow, some way, I believe in my heart that we can make this happen. Okay, so who relates to this and why? Like, do you relate to this and why? Do you agree that we can make this happen? I want to hear your thoughts, art class. Like, do you relate? Do you agree? Because if we don't, it's gonna be a total mess. Is America a mess right now? Chanel says it is a mess because it's full of mistakes and issues. But I believe it's going to be all right. Somehow, in some way, I believe in my heart that we can make this happen. Okay, so this is the hope that we need to show in our art show. Because, guys, we have no choice. We can't let the country be messed up. Not me by myself, not you by yourself. I'm talking about all of us living together as one. We can do this, sophomore class. Living in our America. We'll do it with our art. Stop and think. You will create an art piece that helps the viewer to either see your perspective, America, an art piece that helps the audience to believe that America can make this happen. So you're going to show the truth with your thesis, but you want to show like that you believe we can make it happen. If you agree with that, because I want you to speak from your heart. Okay? This is, so what might either of these art pieces look like? What might it look like? What might this hope look like? What are the metaphors? And that is the circle map you're doing during academic prep. This is Lee Allen Jones on November 19, 1996. I hope I survive. I hope I survive. I hope I survive. Peace. Signing off. Stop and think. How can creating art during this time be a form of survival? Guys, please continue with this seminar during academic prep. How can we leverage art to create a hopeful future? And you will show that. Thank you, Chanel, for sticking with me. I see 3 people. Thank you, Chanel. Thank you, Anthony. Thank you, Andrea. It's a big deal. Friday classes are too short, so hopefully during academic prep, you guys will keep writing your ideas. Put your metaphors, your ideas for your metaphors, your questions on the left side, and then do your circle map. How are you going to show your thesis? Post to Seesaw. All right, peace.